to say welcome all. All right, welcome all of you again. Um, so today we're going to thank you as you come, putting your location, your name and your location on our chat. We could see where you're all from. And we're going to give you some updates. There's a lot of good stuff going on that we want to fill you in on, and have some chance for some peer coaching, sharing challenges. I'll tell you more about that later, some coaching tips that seem to work for you. And then we're getting into the updates, and here is B. So one of our very own has joined our board. B, who you saw maybe on one of our LinkedIn and social media thing that Ioana helps us with, who's been coaching with us for a while. B is, I was going to say a woman who needs no introduction, but let me introduce her a little bit. She really understands the immigrant experience because she was an immigrant from Warsaw and works for a German company, Siemens, and lives in the UK for, I don't know what, how many years did you say? 12 years or something?
20 almost.
20. Oh, you're already Brit. You're a Brit. Um, so anyway, so I just want to, and B is going to help us with development and kind of as a resource for us with coaches. And anyway, B, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more? Okay.
Oh, thank you, Beth, for your kind words. So, probably some of you already know me because I'm trying to be on this call regularly. So, I'm Beja Ziorska. I'm originally from Poland, but yeah, moved about 20 years ago to the UK. And as Beth mentioned, I work for a German company and work actually with colleagues from around the world, including, China or USA. I'm project lead at work, an internal coach, but I have huge passion for people. So at the age of 43, I started my master degree in psychology a couple of years ago to continue my journey and support uh, my clients and even of refugee jumpstart our clients even in better way. So I'm really happy to be amongst these great people uh, and build the future even brighter for our refugees clients.
Thank you so much, B. And B is also has her own private coaching practice. If any of you want a lesson on promoting your coaching practice on social media, check hers out. Go to B's LinkedIn site. Every day she's been posting stuff, videos that she does, and I gotta say, it's really impressive. Um,
Thank you. And if I just may, I just recently started, and seriously, it works. I have already kind of four, virtual coffees with other people. I was invited recently for the podcast about culture. Uh, so yeah. So if you need any tips, please
yeah, no, she's great.
give me a shout.
And B, how do you pronounce your last name again?
Jeziorska. You
Yijor.
can,
Can I just call you B? Okay.
yes.
I'm, I'm so bad at that. Yeah. Anyway, delighted to have you and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah. Um, so let me go on with this. So one of the things I wanted to share with you in our updates is we've had 107 coaching sessions since January. Okay. And when on the coaching completion forms, you'll see that, you check off the box of how did you spend most of your time. So I went through it last night and I found this is where not all the time is spent, but you folks check this off. And it seems like these were the highest priority times that you're spending with clients. So job search strategies, 33.6% of you said on your coaching completion forms that you spend time on this. The second most was career goals and transitions. And as coaches, I love seeing that because I think um, that's where they need a lot of help. Personal social obstacles. So when we talk about, and our research showed that we're helping them with their well-being, I think it falls into this. And I hear from clients and in our post assessments and our exit interviews that that's really the stuff that they're taking away is how you're helping them feel good and moving forward. And it's like that whole well-being seems to really be having an impact. LinkedIn profiles, and CV preps. So one thing I want to say is sometimes I see on the second session, you're already working on a lot of people are working on their CVs and on their LinkedIn profile. Can I suggest we also have job search mentors who specialize in CVs and LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. Some of you have a lot of expertise in that and enjoy doing that. That's great. But it seems, unless they're really, really clear on after that first session that they really need help on the job search, can I humbly suggest you spend some more time really clarifying their strengths and their career possibilities and all that? Sometimes they're just so desperate, they just want a job and they rush into it. And then my hunch is then they back into it later. They realize it may not be as clear. So I just wanted to kind of mention that, but there seems to be some consistency. The job search thing is really important. But just know that it doesn't all have to fall on you. If you enjoy it and you're good at it, go for it. If you need some additional support, contact Jessica and she'll arrange a one or two sessions that your client can have with a mentor, a job search mentor. By the way, we're having a LinkedIn profile, having a workshop coming up next month, and LinkedIn is doing it on social impact for our clients. So we'll let you know when that happens so you can promote it. So are there any questions or anything at this point? Just speak out because I can't see everybody.
Sorry, Bev, just to jump in, everyone, I reach out to everyone to have the opportunity to speak with a CV specialist. Sometimes
Okay.
and that's, I go off of the session completion form, so I know that you're at least around halfway through, depending on people's availability. Sometimes it's a bit later, but thank you so much for completing the session completion forms, because that's how I know where you are, and I'm trying to extend that opportunity in the second half of the coaching journey. And then yes, the LinkedIn, actually, I know it's hard to believe it's May, but the LinkedIn is actually this month for clients. It's going to be on the 27th. And Ioana is going to be posting something soon.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And also, I thought I'd share this pre and post assessments. You do, in theory, I don't know if this happens this way, that both the pre and the post assessment on session number 2, you have the match meeting, session 1, session 2 is the pre-assessment, and it's a chance for you to really talk with them because, if they give themselves a 5 and you dig down deeper on their career goals, they find, oh, maybe I'm only really a 3, so that's why we have that dialogue. And then on the last session, on the 8th session, to do the post assessment. Now, if you guys choose to continue meeting, God bless you, and that's fine. But we'd like to have some consistency that by the 8th session, we do a post assessment. So look at these numbers. You should be all patting yourself on the back that since 2023, between the pre and the post, every single category that we were asking about improved. So clear about long-term career goals and confident about qualifications and overall job search plan and the CVs and how to present myself in an interview and cover letters and LinkedIn, all those kinds of things. So you're really making a huge difference. I mean, I'm really, there's not one that slipped. Every single one of them, there was an improvement. And they don't necessarily remember what they did, what they wrote on the pre-assessment. So this is, I think, really a moment in time where it's making a difference. So thank you again. So another update. So I think I mentioned this last time. In June, oh my God, that's next month, Hussein and I are presenting at the Hult University Ashridge Coaching Conference on trauma conscious coaching. And we're doing a thing, it's only 70 minutes, but it's going to be interactive. But it's going to be presenting our methodology, how it's a little different than just normal coaching stuff that we've talked about. And also really refining this, the 5, we've identified now 5 mental models. What do you call it, Hussein?
Refugee mindset.
Refugee mindsets, thank you. And Hussein has been running it by his refugee friends from all over in Greece. We've got a lot of people from a lot of different countries, and they're helping to refine it. And then what we're hoping is at this conference, we're going to have a lot of coaches will be in the room to say, here's a mindset. here are some of our ideas about how to use transformative coaching and what other ideas do you have. So we're trying to build a whole kind of toolkit for coaching refugees. We're inviting our coaches. Now, if you happen to be in London or want to be in London, it's outside of London a little bit. We got a 20% discount for our RGS coaches because we said, oh, but they're going to be kind of presenting also. So there'll be a couple minutes where our coaches will talk about what it's been like, how it's the same or different in coaching other clients that they have, or what they've learned from it. We'll have to figure that out. So feel free if you want to come to that. We'd love to have you. And also, we're spending the night there. It's a really cool place. On Saturday, we're having the UK coaches come together from 10 to 4 and talk about what was our learning from the conference and how can we implement some of this stuff. And there'll be a little coaching presentation from some of our coaches, and also brainstorming if we develop a training program that we're hoping to get ICF approved, what would be the elements of that? So that's on the Saturday also at Hult University. And I think, Jessica, can you put in the link? We'll have it in the minutes, but also if anybody's interested in learning more about it, all the information's there.
I already put it in. It's
You're so fast.
there.
You're so fast. Okay, thank you. So just kind of a summary of what's going on. You know, our basic, I was going to say bread and butter, but there's no bread and butter involved. There's no money involved. Is our coaching program, of which you're all connected. And Hussein has been heading up an entrepreneurship program in Athens. We're piloting it. Hussein, do you want to talk for a moment about
what's going on? Thank you, Beth. So basically, we are running this pilot program for refugees in Athens, Greece. The program consisting 4 modules: leadership, marketing, financial literacy, and fast pitch event. Also, how you present your work. We screened 10 candidates, and out of those 10 candidates, we have an advisory group of 4 really good people and knows what they are talking about, who selected, our clients for the program. The clients has a different background. They are all of them refugees, but with the different nationalities: Syrian, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran. So far, they are doing so good. We launched this program last month with the open day to speak about it. We had a really nice meeting with entrepreneurs, and they are moving forward right now.
Great.
And if you have any question, please, don't hesitate to ask me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Is the program online? Because you said 4 modules, or is it in person? And how many entrepreneurs do you have, Hussein?
So basically, the program, we have a platform where we put all the materials of the program on it, but it's specifically tolerated for refugees in Greece, Athens. We are piloting it, so maybe in the future, if the pilot, after evaluation, if the pilot succeed, so we can, share it with, with online clients, for example.
So the platform has, can I just add, it has little tests on it. It has, I believe, it has, we've hired professors who teach entrepreneurship who have developed these modules. And so it's a hybrid thing. They meet sometimes in person and sometimes online. They do their own stuff online, right? And there's
we have a specific workshop which is about financial literacy. Also, Find Your Strength, which Beth will present in June here in Greece, in-person workshop for them. And also, let's say it's like 90% of the program is online, but we have the main workshop. It's in person.
Okay. So, so we're excited to see how that all folds out, but so far it's looking great. We started this client and alumni monthly training programs just to keep people in our network. And, the first one had to do with AI, and the second one was Agatha did a fabulous thing on Agatha, do you want to say what? Well, she also did it for us coaches and then converted it to for our clients about how do you change that? Because a lot of times they're embarrassed to say they're refugees. How do they explain it? and they've got so much going for them in terms of resiliency and determination and all that, how they do that switch to really promote themselves as highly resilient, and it becomes a plus instead of this negative connotation. One is coming up next week that Cindy, one of our coaches who unfortunately has COVID right now, but she's getting better. So she couldn't be on the call today, on behavioral interviewing, how to use the STAR, which Agatha also touched on, as a formula for how do you convert questions into something where you could really promote your strengths. And then we're also doing the LinkedIn. So the behavioral, so what we'd love is for you to tell your clients about it. They should have all gotten emails. If for some reason they didn't, please let Jessica know, because for some reason they're not on our database, because they should, or on Joanna sends out emails. So they should have all gotten something. We have about 13 responses, something like that. But
And sometimes I'm sorry to interrupt. Sometimes it goes to spam. So make that people are checking
okay.
there too.
Yeah. So yeah, just kind of check in with them to see if they received it, if they're planning on attending it. And then we have this other LinkedIn one that they'll also let them know about that. So programs in development, I can't remember how much I shared before. There's two programs that we're kind of excited about. One is we're calling Career Plus program, and that is, we got something like 42 applicants from African Leadership University of seniors, mostly seniors, some alums, who wanted our coaching. And I go, there's clearly a need here for graduating seniors, transitioning them from university life, these refugees, to the workplace. So we were trying to get some funding for that with, who was it funding? Anyway, we didn't get it, but we decided to take them on as clients. So many of you, I know Jessica has been interviewing a lot of them. We've already started working with a few of them, and I think that there's another 8 or 9 that we're going to bring on board. So you might soon be getting a client. If any of you have particular expertise with that kind of graduating seniors and like working with young people and helping them set the direction, please let Jessica know, so that we can match you with some of these folks that are going to be coming on board soon. That's a Career Plus program. And the other thing is this RLO Leadership Plus program. And Gina, I'm sorry, Gina has her hand up. Gina, you want to ask something?
Sorry, I just want to clarify, when you say graduating seniors, are you referencing high school seniors or older seniors? I just want to clarify which
Yeah,
group we're.
good point. University seniors.
But that could be.
In their early 20s, refugees specifically.
Oh, okay. So not seniors who have gone back to school, not older people who've gone back to school, but
some of them might be older, but they're basically finishing up a bachelor's degree.
okay. So younger people who
Younger,
are
20.
okay. I wasn't sure which group
Yeah,
we're talking
everybody-
about. Okay.
me,
Okay.
but,
Mature
yeah.
students or not? Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the clarification. So the RLO leadership is, I keep saying RLO is like becoming a thing. RLO is refugee-led organizations. Like Hussein, we're co-founders, and it's a refugee-led organization. So, but there are a lot of them, and a lot of them in Africa specifically, but they're all kind of all over the world. So we're working with Solange, who is a former client of ours who's now interning with us. And she came up with a list of like 45 organizations. And we've reached out to them and we did a needs assessment. And their last day to turn it in is on Saturday. And then we said we will share the results with them about what do refugee leaders need? Because they're on the ground level. They're the ones that and most of them, they haven't had leadership development training. They don't, they're doing it out of pure passion, but they don't have any expertise. So we're uncovering things that they really could use help on. Managing a team, how do you motivate them? There's a lot, of course, they all want fundraising too. I go, when you learn how to do that, teach me. But but anyway, we're learning a lot from that. And we've got it framed, but we need funding to it because we want to hire people to do this, to help design it. We want to help coaches. If we get funding for this, we would like to pay our coaches who are going to get involved in this. It won't be a huge amount, but we don't want them to do it for free. So that's our hope. So that's kind of the programs we're in process of. And so here's our ask to you. And I've got a list of names already from some of you. If you're in the learning and development space, I call it, training and development, that was kind of my background, and want to help give input into some of these programs, we need your help. And we also want to create, I forgot to add this, create a program for how do you coach refugees? And we would love it to get ICF certified. There's some stuff out there now on resilience. So anyway, let me know, shoot me an email or a text or something. And when we have our meeting, I know in the UK, they're going to be brainstorming a little bit. Can you introduce us to potential funders? You folks are all over the world. And if you know of any potential foundations, family foundations, anything like that, we're not even looking at the US federal grants. We're just not even going there. But if you know of anything, if you can make an introduction for us or let us know, or maybe we identify one in your country, maybe we might say, do you know anybody on the board here or anything like that? So we could use your help there. And also, if you'd like to lead a coaching bite, we've had some wonderful contributions, like Agatha and Cindy is going to be presenting. If there's a coaching bite that you think is appropriate for our a coaching technique that, based on your experience working with refugees, this could be a good tool to share, shoot us an email. Would love to discuss it with you. And also, if you want to do some training for our clients, the coaching buddy is usually around 20 minutes. We'll have a little presentation and then get in small groups and come back. But there's some flexibility in that. But the other thing is, if you want to do training, if you know how to do, personal budgeting or just anything that you think our clients could use some help on, as a training program, and there might be some interest, we'd love to, those are usually an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. If you have a program ready to go that you could tweak, that would be fabulous. And also, if you would share, we're trying to get the word out in a larger network. If you could share posts on your social media to help spread the word about Refugee Jumpstart, that would be amazing, because that could help us connect with other funders and things, because we're looking at funding so we could staff up. We've got big plans and big hopes, but we're stretched thin. Okay, are there any questions at this point? Raise your, let's see. I don't see any hands raised, and I can't see everybody on my screen. So, or just shout it out. No, you're
I
good.
have a question about
Yes, please.
at the beginning. You talked about job search. You showed us the chart of what people are coaching the most about, and you said the top was job search, and then you said that you have mentors to do that. But I'm a bit not clear on what a coach is meant to do, because the other things, the LinkedIn profile, the CV, those also, the other 4 items also come into job search.
Right.
And then the only one that was different was transition, and I forget what the one that was, you were happy about it, coaches were doing that, but I'm just a little bit not clear about the role of the coach versus sending them to a job search mentor when the goal seems to be
Right.
job search and
Right.
transitioning to job.
No, it's a really good question. When we started this, one of our methodologies was our coaching is a hybrid of coaching and mentoring, which is the coaching is more questioning, having them be a thought partner, helping them think through things, improving their well-being, help them get clarity on their career goals, helping build self-confidence, which is huge. And so, but we said they're refugees in a foreign country, they also need concrete stuff about how you go about getting a job. So we said sometimes you're also going to give information that if you were taking a test at ICF, they would probably slap your hand and fail you if you gave too much advice. But we're saying when you're working with refugees, sometimes you need to share information. We still would prefer coaches, and now we're only taking certified coaches or coaches who are just working on their hours. We're hoping that they focus on the career stuff and also do the other stuff. So what I'm suggesting is sometimes coaches, if they're executive coaches, they may not have worked with CVs for a long time or refine that. And I just don't want coaches struggling and spending their time doing that when they don't feel they have the expertise or they don't. Sometimes coaches love working on the CVs because you really get inside what their experience is and what their background is, and you ask good questions. And so sometimes it's really useful as a coach. I just, for those of you who would rather offload that, we have job search mentors who are not trained coaches, but who are in the recruitment world, or they just have a lot of experience in organizations where they've reviewed a lot of CVs and or do interviews and that sort of thing. So it's both and is one of our things about managing polarities. It's like it's up to you where you want to fall in that. I would just urge you as professional coaches, if you had to err on the side of helping build their self-confidence and working on their well-being and helping them give confidence and empowering them. And also then helping win the job search. Okay, is that clear as mud?
It helps. It helps. And how many sessions would they have with a job search mentor?
As many as you folks decide.
So,
A job, if it's a CV, maybe they need a couple of sessions. You could continue meeting with them, or you say, why don't you meet for a couple times and then share what you came up with me, and we'll continue working. It's all what you negotiate with the person, what's comfortable for both of you.
okay,
It's
because
usually, and sorry, it's usually like 2 sessions.
Okay.
I've seen from the session completion forms from the job search specialists. Elza had to hop off the phone call, and our other job search specialist I see isn't here. But usually I see it's two. One to sort of feel
Okay.
each other out, look at things together. The next one is it seems like there's usually homework, and then the next session to review together.
Okay, so it's very concrete and it's not a long-term thing. Because I found that with the person I coached, even once every 2 weeks is a lot for some people to show up, and so if I would be surprised somebody wanting to do both at the same time on a like for 10 sessions. So if it's only a few sessions, and maybe the coach can help them at least get their CV to a place where they can show it to the mentor. Because I mean, if they don't even have a CV, or if you haven't seen it, then it's the mentor can be the most efficient if it's only 2 sessions, if there's something to work with.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I think that's right. And I think that's right. I think about 2 sessions on the CV. And sometimes it might be on interviewing skills, but my hunch is you all have the skills to help with the interviewing thing too. But maybe cover letters, how to really do a targeted cover letter. I mean, the CV is, I think, I've come to learn it's more complicated than I thought because there's all these algorithms. So I learned at a workshop I once took that if you have 2 columns, that it eliminates one of the columns. And sometimes it looks visually better, but I think half of it gets lost. So I don't know what the rules are on algorithms and CVs, but there's something in there.
And it must change country by country, because I heard an article, a radio interview this morning that said when you apply for a job on a website, you need to use the same language and words that they're using. And a person who runs this employment organizations is not to necessarily change your whole CV, but to switch up words that are the same as the words, because they all just go through an algorithm and choose CVs that have the words that relate to what they were asking for.
Right. And that is something I think that's absolutely true. And I think that's something a coach could really help with. That, I mean, you go through a job application or a job requirement and you pick out those words and you just populate it. You populate it in your job objective, you populate it in other experience that you've had. And you want to make sure it matches as much as possible without completely redoing it. But you could have, like, on key skills, you know, you could put that in and that could be changed easily. You could pop out one skill and put in another one that's relevant for that. So yeah, there's a lot of tricks of the trade. I'm still learning. All right.
It could be good for us to have a workshop with the
Yeah.
person so that we have some skills related to what they know if they're not ready to really meet the specialist.
Yeah, I think we're going to see if we could have LinkedIn do a workshop for our coaches. Because right now they just wanted it for clients, but I think that they might combine us with some other organizations and do one for coaches as well, which would be great. Okay, so moving on. So we're going to get you in small groups. And so, as I was saying before, I think we'll have maybe like 12, 15 minutes, something like that. Hussein is going to get you in groups of about, let's see, how many people do we have total right now? 20. So we're thinking maybe 4 in a group, having 5 groups, or not all of us, that includes us too. I might be a bitter butterfly going from group to group. I don't know if there's a way to do that, but so so some of the questions I was thinking about is what has stood out for you in coaching RGS clients that might be the same or different than coaching other clients? Like just to do a kind of compare and contrast. Some of you may not be working with a client right now, but hopefully you've had some experience. And how might that be the same or different? And then as a coach, what has been some of the greatest challenges you have faced working with an RGS client? If you could think of, you know, something that kind of either challenges you as a coach or makes if you could come up with some of those challenges. And then at the end, we're going to have you just put it in chat really, but very succinctly, like bullets. We can't have a long thing. And then Jessica's kind enough to see if there's some main themes that we could identify based on the challenges. And also, we're going to learn a lot from this. And so see if there's anything we could do from our organization standpoint to help address some of those challenges on your behalf. So is to brainstorm. Here's where the peer coaching comes in. If there's a challenge that somebody has had, you know, we want you to contribute about, oh, this is how I had a similar kind of thing and this is how I dealt with it. It worked, it didn't work, whatever you want to share about that. And or share some of the best transformative coaching strategies that have worked. Like what have you done that was, wow, this really turned a person around. So if you're willing to share that, I think we might need 15 minutes for this because there's a lot going on. And so thank you. Some of you already filled out, Jessica had sent out a Google Doc. And so here were some of the challenges that people just jotted down at the time. Sometimes the language proficiency was a problem. Can you find a job for me? I'm sure you might have heard that. Client wants coach to provide the answers and advice. So you kind of get sucked in because you probably have the answers. So it's hard to, what I call boomerang it back to them to say, well, how would you deal with it? But they want answers and advice. Poor internet connectivity, especially in Africa. Balancing client tensions between glad they're working and wanting a more career-oriented job. So getting them motivated enough to look for another job when they're just happy they're making money. And so that's what some of the things that people said. Some of the coaching tips, strategies, helping them visualize the ideal job, what inspires them, taking a holistic approach, powerful questioning, use of the whiteboard when writing skills seems stronger than speaking skills, that they could jot down stuff a lot easier. The STAR technique, I forget what it's, all right, help me. Agatha, what does STAR stand for? Do you remember?
I can imagine that it's about STAR. It's a situation, task, activity, and result, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's another R.
I don't know why it's
There's
second
two
R.
R's. There's another one, a model, another R that Cindy is
I
gonna be
don't.
saying.
Yes, I don't remember
I don't
result
either.
and
I don't need it, but thank you for that. Yeah.
yeah.
How do you
Reflection, maybe? Reflection?
Reflection,
reflection.
maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Challenging assumptions. I think that's big in our line of work. It's like, well, they won't hire refugees. Well, yeah, maybe that's true. And are there other possibilities? Questioning the assumption. So these are some of the tips that you just wrote on the Google Doc. But we would like you to spend some time, and look at the time right now. I think we have 15 minutes. And Hussein is going to get you, if you could, I don't know if you want to take a picture of this or how you can all remember it. I would suggest introducing yourselves in the room. And if somebody wants to facilitate, because you're probably all professional facilitators too, just somebody quickly take the lead and just have everybody have an opportunity to talk. Try to be mindful of the time so everybody has a chance to talk or give feedback. So that's kind of the idea. Oh, I got to turn that off. So are there any questions about that? Okay. Can you remember those 3 questions? How is the same or different? Coaching.
Sorry, Bev, can you put it back up so I can take a screenshot and put it in the chat?
Perfect.
I have put it,
Please.
Jessica.
Yeah.
I put
Ah,
it.
thanks,
Oh, you
Ioana.
did, Joanna. Great.
Super. Thank you.
Let's see. Where is it? Oh, it's coming in right now. All right. So you folks might want to, I don't know, take a screenshot, or I don't know how. Zoom's got to figure out a better way to bring stuff to the small groups. All right. Well, we will see you. You will suddenly disappear, and then you will be getting a warning. I think I don't know if it's 30 seconds or a minute beforehand, and we'll see you back in like 15 minutes. Hussein, you got all the groups? All right. Let's go. Bye, everybody, as they slowly disappear into your rooms. You have to accept it, I think. Poor Shri, where is he going to go? Okay. So, wow.
Not if enough time.
Back. I know it was not enough time. I know. We have time to go back. No, we don't really have time to go back. Yeah, I joined one of the groups. It was like so great. It was so great. I don't know even what we should be sharing on the chat, because we had 3 different questions and the responses were so great. Why don't we just go around in the open, and just what was something that really stuck out for you in your conversation, either about how it's the same or different than other clients, about challenges, or a tip that you learned or that worked for you? Why don't we just share like that? And let's try to hear from everybody, just really succinctly, and then we'll capture all this and be able to share it with everybody in the summary. All right. Who should I call people, or you want to just be brave? Mary, Mary, you did a great job facilitating, by the way.
Sure. Yeah, I think one theme, we had 3 questions and 3 coaches. So we very quickly hit 9 answers. So I think a theme that just kept emerging was keeping hope high, working with gratitude, working with past successes, and using a client's strengths that they may not be identifying with currently because of challenges, but they have them inside of them. And if we can help them identify them and remind them of successes that they've had in their lives previously, and it could help them remember that they have been successful, they do have strength, they do have resilience, and that helps it stay future focused, as opposed to dragging them down into negativity or despair.
Thank you. That was a good summary. Who'd like to go next? Just raise your hand. Christine, see, if you don't volunteer, then I call on you and it's, I don't know, I hate that.
Gina was sort of facilitating our group and she had her hand up. So
Hey, Gina.
I think,
Go
I
ahead,
think
go ahead,
I'd
Christine.
love to, well, I'd love to, for all of you to hear what she had to say. So it was
Okay.
important.
It was a really good conversation. It was nice being in the breakout group with the four of us. One thing that came up for those of us who've had Refugee Jumpstart clients was the practicality or the reality of the financial instability that many of them face, and how while we're trying to focus on and build their self-confidence, and that's something that does come up, and their longer term goals, there has to be also a recognition and appreciation. Sometimes we have to actually look behind the subtext of what they're saying to us. It took a little bit of digging before my client was able to comfortably share he had 1 month's worth of income left and then is in trouble. And so being able to hold that long-term goal that our clients have at the same time as understanding what might be challenging them in the moment when they're actually taking the time to come to us is really critical, I thought.
Really good.
And that's why I put in the one of the things that was helpful for us would be if there has been, I apologize, I don't know it, but some kind of a session where we learn about what services, what access to services do refugees in different countries actually have, if there is that information available.
Okay.
Others feel free to share.
Anybody else from that group who wants to share anything? And by the way, feel free to add stuff to the chat also, if you have some other things. Yeah, Riva?
Yeah, I can piggyback on what Gina said. We were in the same group. Thank you, Gina. But those short-term needs. So I'm kind of newer. I'm working with my second client. And I feel like that will be really helpful, that if we had access to the information, like in some sort, I don't know how much detailed, or just like some overview of in different countries what is available to them as a refugee, what rights or what is available to them. That because I feel like here we are not solely being ICF certified coaches in our roles with the refugees. It's a combination of mentorship and coaching. I mean, when somebody doesn't have food in their stomach, and roof on their head, we cannot just be building their resilience. So if we know that what is available to them, like let's say my current client is in America, so as a refugee, what all is possible legally, job, education, what other rights they have, then we could help like lead them, guide them, support them.
Yeah. So let me ask you, because we have people from so many different countries all over the world that for us to get, and it changes. I mean, the US, what was literally a month ago is not now. But my answer has always been, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, is empowering them to say, look, you're on the ground. Believe me, these people know, I think, what resources they talk to their friends. Like, how would you go about finding out what resources are available? What resources, what resettlement agencies? Do you talk with UNHCR? Like somehow have you talked to your friends? How are they approaching it? Like throwing it back on them to help them Google search or help them figure out how can you find out about what resources are in Rwanda, for an example. Like how would you go about finding that out? And my hunch is they're going to have some things. Now, in the meantime, we can also do some research, and there might be some stuff, but to research every country, it changes, because you're right, it's very different in each country. But I guess I'd encourage you to see, I'd be curious if you throw it back on them to say, how would you go about finding that information if they have ideas or if they really just don't? Okay, that's my 2 cents. But in the meantime, I'm writing a note that maybe if there's some sources that we can find out, we can post that on our resources page for coaches and clients. Who else would like to share? Okay, Sultan.
Actually, this is just to confirm. I mean, this was our observation as well in our group, that sometimes it's even premature to coach. At least one client I had, it was actually, he was not yet in the mindset to be coached. He just wanted to have information, food, not food, I mean, job, more security, and he was really angry with the system that the country was not helping him enough. So actually, my job was to show him how much he already received from Austria. This was here. And I think it really helped him to realize that, okay, now I have my share. So it's up to me now to do something for myself. But really, it was not really coaching. It was just banging his head. I mean, because coaching, you all know, I mean, much better than I do. I mean, you need to have the information. You need to possess the information. Coaching is just, calling whatever is there. But if the information is not there, I mean, there's no way you can coach. I mean, sometimes you really have to inject information and tell him this is not how it is done here. And like in this case, I mean, Austria will never help you unless you go and do it, and then they assist you, but they are not doing it for you. And it really they just needed to understand.
So some of that is sharing culturally, especially if you're in the same country, say, that might be how it is back home for you, but let me share with you what it is.
I'm Hungarian. I'm even a refugee here, if you like, or a migrant or whatever. But still, I mean, at least I understand this culture. And he was really angry. Just he's not having enough help, and stupid Austrians are not helping enough. So sometimes it is also a job to appease people. No. I mean, look, it's you are getting help. You are getting assistance.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for that.
So that was, I think,
a learning for you. Agata.
Yes, thank you. I was just wanted to say from our room, which was the first room I was with Aisha, with Millie, and with Caroline, and we started with these challenges as a first point. So it is different for us to coach refugee clients than our clients from the market. And especially what you already covered here with the discussion, and Zoltan said, first tip and first thing is to not do things on behalf of our clients and empower them to think how they can do it. So for me, I do not really, I wouldn't like to have the resources which I should share with them, because, okay, if we even have a full list of everything, again will appear the question, okay, so find what is related to my situation, right? So whatever we do, it's my opinion, of course, and please challenge me if you want, but whatever we do, whatever kind of advice and ready solution we will provide, it will be more and more that they will ask for. Because if you deliver one thing, they will ask for another to deep dive and so on. So in my opinion, it's always better to coach really and say, okay, this is not my work. The coaching is the process where you take the ownership. You need to be accountable. You need to think about this. I am here to support, to listen, and so on, because I'm your partner. And I believe in you. And I'm sure that you have these talents, what ladies before me said. I believe in your talents. I can discover them with you. I want you to use your talents, but not to give the ready solution. Because in my opinion, it's always, how we say it in English, that it's road to nowhere. I don't know, there is some kind of specific, yeah. So
yeah,
but I felt from the room that we had the really similar challenges, all of us, right? That we have been asked to give the support in finding things, giving the links, giving the advice, giving everything what really it should be on their side to investigate, and with us only to think through about the different things which they discovered.
Thank you for that. That's
Thank you.
it fits into that victim mentality that we've been developing is they're used to people giving them, giving them stuff initially, right? And whether it be money for a period of time or food or a place to live, even if it's a refugee camp. So they're used to being in that victim, I take, and not being responsible to, okay, this is what I need to do. So I think encouraging them that they've got the efficacy to make things happen for themselves. They've got the power, they've got the control sometimes to make things happen for themselves. So thank you.
But sorry, one more thing because I forgot. But I love Zoltan way to teach them appreciation.
You're
So
right.
I take this tip.
You're like,
It was
snap out of
it
it.
was yes, it was great.
Sometimes, yeah. Okay, who else?
I
Evie?
think I would
Yeah,
like to
Caroline? Yeah, please.
just add another angle into this because I was in the group with Agatha, and I think it's that I just had a new match meeting, and a lot of it was like, oh, you do the research, you can do this, you can do that, and we just went back to no, this is not idea. But what I also felt, it's not so much because I worked with clients that didn't receive so much. But I worked with clients that were in the situation for so long, they just were so happy to have someone that could potentially help that they just dropped everything and they just were like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So I think it's just a different angle to look at what's the same symptom, but it actually has a very different origin on how it comes along. Because a lot of our clients, they're in this hyper stress situation for years and years and years. And when someone comes along and then they're empathic, they listen, they're there, and they just want to drop. They don't want to do anything anymore.
Yeah. No, it's really a good point. And the other thing is, when I was once doing research on a book that I've never written, but I'm close, someday I'll do it, on neuroscience and leadership, one of the things that I learned is the brain, evolutionary wise, if there's ambiguity and there's a lack of clarity, the brain automatically chooses the negative more than the positive. And that's because if you're not sure, if you're going to get eaten by a bear, you're going to run, the fight or flight, that we're hardwired into, if we're not clear on something, we will assume the worst. And I know in the corporate setting, when there were all these layoffs, when I was at aerospace for many years, until people were settled, they were okay if they knew they were going to get laid off, but it was that in between, not knowing, it was very destructive, and people would always assume the worst. So helping get whatever clarity we can to help them, I think is also helpful. So thank you for that. Thank you. Who else?
Just,
Mary?
I just wanted to add to that. I think if there's a client who doesn't know how to find like even just emergency services, food banks or housing discounts, here in Montana, I mean, I think anyway, it's different, probably community, but I think if a client wants a coach or a mentor to do that work for them, an easy-ish way to perhaps couch that conversation is to ask them, just probe them. When was a time in your life when you didn't know how to do something, or when you didn't know the answer? How did you find the answer? How did you locate that information? And I believe, I mean, I could probably think of it. I think everybody could probably think of a time when they felt stumped. They wanted somebody to give them the answer, and they had to do it for themselves. And I really believe that helps bring that memory or bring that experience up to the forethought and kind of remind them that, oh yeah, I can be resourceful. And I've found that can be helpful if they're just not wanting to do the work, or they don't think that they have the information. It's just kind of reminding them of a time. Everybody, if you're 10 years old, or especially 40 years old, there is a time when you needed to know something and couldn't, and how did you get there?
Right. And it's exhausting. A lot of times they're just exhausted, and they're sick a lot. I think a lot of times refugees get sick. I think their constitution is kind of broken down. can I share one thing that when I was before starting Refugee Jumpstart with Hussein, I was volunteering in refugee camps in Greece. Just every year I'd come back. I don't know. And one thing that I would say to people authentically that really seemed to switch them around, I would say, maybe I've mentioned this before because it really worked. It's like one day when you have grandchildren, like putting them in the future, you're going to tell your kids about how you crossed the Aegean and it was so dangerous, and they're going to say, yeah, grandpa, yeah, right. You know, it's like, you know, kids. But knowing that you've gone through from where you started to where you are today, which will be in the future, you will have made it. You will make it. You will make it. And to know that if you've accomplished this that was so difficult, there's almost nothing you can't accomplish, because probably the worst challenge you've had, you've overcome with strength and with smarts and with creativity, and you've got all that stuff in you. And so you could feel comfortable kind of facing future challenges, knowing that hopefully the worst is over and that you've overcome it and you've moved forward in your life at a very difficult, challenging time. And they literally, their face would change. It's like having that future image of them being maybe a grandparent or being successful in wherever they are, creating that vision and then looking back on their past, knowing I overcame all that. And I must be okay. I must have some good stuff. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to share that has worked for me. So anything else? Any other last comments? We'll try to gather this up and send this out for you. There's also, I think we've recorded it. And was this helpful having probably there's never enough time, maybe more time in small groups? Did this work for you all?
Yeah, that was great conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. So we will do that again. And I want to thank you all. And I had on my last screen next week, and we're going to do something, I'm not sure what yet. Next week is International Coaching Week, that my slide kept showing up throughout this whole thing. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for making a difference. It's making a huge difference. You're the best. You are. I was just telling our board yesterday, we had a board meeting, and I was saying, you know, working with people who are not only creative and smart, but they're so passionate about the work that it's an amazing combination, you know, and open and sharing and all that. So anyway, I want to thank you all. You're all terrific. So we will see.
I just have two quick questions about the conference next month. Of course,
Yes.
I'm so disappointed that I can't click my heels and be in London, but will it be recorded? I wanted to register for the online part, but it's 9:30 in the morning, which was like 2 a.m. for me. And I don't think I can do even the online. So I'm really disappointed.
We'll ask them. Yeah. Is there anybody thinks that they might be coming? I think Agatha might be coming to our UK meeting. I don't know if she's still here. Yeah, right? Maybe, yeah.
I'm here, but I'm not sure if I will be in London.
Oh, no. But anyway, we encourage, it would be great to see you in person. And if not now, maybe another time. So I keep having this fantasy that one time we bring all of it, you pay for all the coaches to come and to Greece, and we party and visit some islands and stuff and go on a tour or something together to meet in person and do some work there or something. But that's a fantasy I've had for a few years. Someday it'll happen.
I guess the other question was just a follow-up. Is the next coaching connection call before the conference, or will it be after? And could we do some sort of summarizing of the conference for those of us who can attend?
Maybe we'll do it. I'm not sure yet. I'll discuss it with Jessica and with Hussein and stuff, and we'll look at timing and stuff. Because we go from there for a week, and then we're going to Greece during World Refugee Day. So I got to figure out what a good timing would be. But
I think we already have June 3rd on the calendar.
Okay, forgive me, Jessica.
No. Not that it can't be changed. I'm just throwing that out there.
Do you guys have a preference? I mean, we could do it before, and then we could do it again after. You know, we could do it in July, early part of July, or have it together.
The workshop sounds so amazing, and so I would love to be a fly on the wall. So if you guys could bring them back and we could just learn through osmosis through everybody who attends it would be
Mary,
amazing.
you were sharing with me that there's a resilience certification. You want to say?
Yes, there's a company out of Australia. It's called Driven, Driven, and they offer a ICF accredited certified resilience coach certification. And I looked into it many months ago, but it wasn't ICF accredited. I didn't know if I wanted to pay and put the time in. I would, rather get those hours, but they just received accreditation. So it's really exciting. It's only 14 hours. I say only, but once you sign up, you have 12 months to complete it. And then you get access to tons of resources and sessions with other resilience coaches. It's $1,100 US dollars. It's like 1,400 Australian. So I think it's 1,150 US. So I'm considering it. I don't really have maybe the resources to do it this time, but it looks like a really cool program. And they use a predictive 6-factor assessment model for resilience. And then they do resilience training for groups and individuals. It looks really cool. So if you're interested, I can quickly put it in the chat, but it's also just called Driven. I do have the link real quick. But if,
Sounds interesting. And when we develop our, hopefully ICF accredited course, resilience should definitely be part of that, because that's kind of what we're about. So thank you for putting that in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you. We're only a couple minutes late, and it was great seeing you. And again, Bea, welcome to the board. And thank you all for being here. And we will soon be in touch.
Thanks, Bev and Jessica and Hussein.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.